That's the problem in the mind. That's the kasha. That's the whole thing. Okay? And you get to basically the answer. Sifches is v'zehu, right? When you see v'zehu in the Rebbe's Maimer, this is it. V'zehu, this is it, right? Okay, so the answer is over here. And then, in order to get from here to there, what's the key to getting from here to there? Because we bring the Frierdiker Rebbe, but it doesn't work, l'chera, right? So then there's this v'yuven bahak. Okay, so now you have a beginning, an end, and a middle. So I'm saying because if you want to know a mimer, especially if you have to chazal the mimer, because you don't know the mimer if you can't chazal. Simple way out, right? Know the beginning, the middle, and the end. First the beginning, the end, and define what's
the build.
It's like if I want to draw a line from here to here, I got two ways of doing it. I need a dot here, I need a dot here, I need a dot here, I need a dot, and eventually I get there. Or the other way is I say I'm over here, I need to get to there. It's a line. Okay, simple, right? You only need three things. This I need 1,000 little dots. Right? I have to remember this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot. This way I just have to remember this, and there's a line. That's it, right? So what happens is the threat in the Rebbe's Maimarim, and you think, the Rebbe said this, and then we got into this thing about Zerusa Deliba and Kabbalah Silent, and then it was this it's like the tourist. I was here, and then I was there, and then I was there. But you do it this way, then you see it's all one nakuda. It's just one thing. There's a kasha, there's a carrot, and then there's a...
How you get it?
And it works. That's it, right? It's a shiur. What are you saying?
Yeah, but now give us the line in the middle.
Okay.
You just did the beginning and the end.
Okay, but the problem is bittul and mitzias, right?
How they go together?
Let's just go together, but the two hafachim, mitzias and bittul. Can you think of anything more hafachim than mitzias bittul, right? It's like saying 0, something and nothing, basically. And you're saying that when it comes to Torah, the ikar of mitzias is bittul. It's like saying, what is the number 1 all about? Number 1 is really all about nothing. No, 1 is 1. It's not 0. What are you talking? It's like saying you want to understand what light is. At ikar of light is darkness. It doesn't make any sense. So it's like really schwer. It's a big kasha. Once you see that, you got a big problem. It's not saying the whole world. It's saying Torah is about mitzias. But what's the ikar of this mitzias? And it's really a real mitzias. I mean, there's one type of mitzias where you're walking around the whole day and you're saying, you know what?
It won't be too loud. It'll just be here.
One type of mitzias where you're walking around all day and you're saying, I exist, I can do what I want, Mitzias in Torah means, the Kodesh Baruch Hu says like this, but I say like this. There's a baskol. There's a baskol, and the baskol is saying, why don't you listen to Eliezer B'ni? Eliezer B'ni, don't you know the Allah is like, I'm on his side. And Rabbi Yeshua says, yes, too bad for you. You can't get more mitzias than that. You're saying to Kodesh Baruch Hu, too bad for you. We say like this. You ever in L.A., the Ross, he teaches you to be a mitzias. He's got to argue with him. And he's yelling louder. You have to yell louder than him. Guys go there, they know how to learn a little bit. So they get into a vichuach with him. And then they discover that he just pushes him to the ground and grinds him up until the... So what do you have to do? I'm a mitzias too. I'm going to yell back at you. Now we know how to learn. But here, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Hanania is saying, the Kodesh Baruch Hu, why are you mixing in the argument? We disagree with you. And we're robbing. It's tachlis mitzias. Because you're mitziyus shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? He's saying that this tachlis of mitzias, at its core, what is it? It's bittul. It doesn't make any sense. What's going on? What's a bittul of tshuva, ma'asim tevim? Tshuva means not just I'm nothing. I don't want to exist. Asur mikan tshuva. That's in Samach Vav, the first one, given being tshuva and rusa deliver. He brings also there from mind base. Parts of the person doing tshuva. I don't want to be. I don't want to exist. She's mevatel is mitzis legamre until after the tshuva ein ani eso ish, because that person doesn't exist anymore. He's gone. He's gone. In mevatel, not just he doesn't exist. He was mevatel, made him not exist. So it's two mamish extremes, two opposite extremes. Okay. So now, in order to explain it, what do? We say that in Tafresh Peites, we're saying that in order to get to the Tshuva Ma'asim Tevim, it had to be to Re'usa D'Liba. Re'usa D'Liba, you're already there, right? This is the problem. V'yuvan v'haktim, it says it's one line, and you're supposed to figure out from which this one line what the whole problem is, right? We could have put in some more words, it would have been easier for it. But you just put it like this. You're supposed to figure this out. That the Rebbe is making a deal. He's telling you that Nisbas Iyu Berusa D'Liba. Okay. Berusa D'Liba, I'm there. I have Atzmus. Fine. But no. In the end, he says, this is like, what? Yeah, but that's what the Rebbe's deal is over. What the Rebbe's being Medayik in on it. That's what the Rebbe's asking.
Ours says what we're going to do.
Yeah, but now when the Rebbe's going to go on with this, and that's what the whole middle part is based on. Is it's like, what's wrong? Why didn't you sell? Why you? It's like bait and switch. You know, they tell you to sell you this car, and you walk out with the other car that costs you twice the amount. Bait and switch. The Rebbe is telling you, it's for sale and then no, but actually I'm selling you a car. So the Rebbe said, let's look into this. Like, let's take this apart. And all this middle part is about taking that thing apart, right? So you can get stuck in this. What is the difference? This type of bittul, that type of bittul. At the end of the day, I mean, I don't know what the... If you don't experience it, you don't want this lucid belief it is, you're not really, I mean, how much can you understand this? You're going to give us bara, you're going to give us a bara, you're beautiful as bara, just Shlomo Kaplan is giving us beautiful as... But Anashim Keratenu, at the end of the day, we're just going to get stuck over there. That's what I'm saying, but at least we know where it's going to. Why I need to explain this is in order to get to what I'm going to say in Sifches. So I have to understand this enough that I can get to understanding what this is saying over here. So what's my measure here? When I'm going to go through here, how much do I have to understand this? Because it gets messy. I have to understand it enough that when I get here, I'll understand this. You know, it's like they hired you to fix something. Right, you're fixing the plumbing, you're fixing the wiring, I don't know, the flat house, the table broke, whatever. So you're looking and figuring how does it work. But you could sit there all day long trying to figure out how does it work. You could go on and on and on. Like if I see that spill over there, the schmutz over there, I want you to tell me everything you can about the schmutz over there. Like you'll be the outs everything you can, right? So there has to be a gvul, how much I need to understand this. How much do I need to understand? I need to understand it enough that I'll know what this is saying here. And if I'm doing more, that's not for now. Do enough now of understanding this to get to here. That's what I'm saying. So you get, there's a Mavukash, there's Mitzias, there's Inyan, there's this, there's all these different things. I just want to give like highlights things over here. Where's this part here? See in Sif Vav and Zain what the Rebbe is doing here. He's telling you that in the Veda of the Ben, in the Veda of Kabbalah's El, the Iyar is Mitzias. And then in the Veda of Ben, you have to be an Avid. Like taking each thing in Mitzias, there's Avid and Mitzias, putting like both together. Then you come out in the end. I'm not going to go through the whole line. Just want to point out these things. Did anybody learn like Sif Ches? You can tell me like how did the Rebbe resolve the whole thing? Somebody got it down. What is the resolution? What's the answer to the problem? Anybody get it? Somebody learned through it, the whole thing yet? Nobody? We're lost? You come back next week?
You're invited.
Okay, there's one line over here. It's a strange thing about Reb Yoel. Most people, when they want to tell you, like, this is the main point, I put underlines, right? Or put in italics or big bold, like neon lights.
Puts it in
For
brackets.
some reason, they put it in. And so, it seems to me it's right over here. Sifdalet, right? Af shalagabe ha'atzmus bittul u'metzias hein b'shava mamish. Right here. See it? Af shalagabe ha'atzmus bittul u'metzias hein b'shava mamish. Is that lashon anywhere like an Ein Beis or some Vav or something like that? Is there such a lashon by the Rebbe Rishab, by the Frierdiker Rebbe? Say such a lashon? I don't
He doesn't have the lashon earlier, but not in this grind. It's only.
He's sort of bringing it, dancing
Right,
around
the
it
words-
before,
the words
but here
here,
it's
right.
clear.
Right.
Gabe Atzmas. So I don't have the Bekias, but I haven't seen it anywhere. Such a lashon. It's out there like you learned Pasuk Eliyahu, Tafshin Tesvav. To my Marim, Pasuk Eliyahu, the Chanukah Maimer, yeah. So the Rebbe is dealing with Das Eli and Das Tachta, and it says very similar language over there. It says they're both made up, you know. Doesn't need either of them. They're both emes. Why? Because the Eibishter wants them to be emes. That's all. But there's no Maila of Das Elin. He says a lot of them against the Chanukah Maimer that Das Elin is also emes. Like the Alter Rebbe says that Das Tachton is also emes. And the Rebbe writes there in the Maimer that Das Elin is also emes, right? So it's the same type of thing. Like it's all the Eibishter just made them up. He could have done without Das, and just like he could have done without Das Tachton, he could have done without Das Elin. Just because he has a rot and he wants them. Okay, so he wants them, but they exist. So they're emes. Why? Why they're emes? Because he wants them, that's all. So why is Bittul? What's so fantastic about Bittul? The Eibishter wants it, that's all. But Bittul doesn't have a mind of its own. It's not that Bittul is such a fantastic thing that Metzias, is so embarrassing. The Eibishter could have said, I don't want Bittul, I want Metzias. Bittul has no mind of its own. So when you learn the Pei Test Maimer, B'Shitchis, it sounds like that's how you learned before the Rebbe explained these things. You learn that the most embarrassing thing that you carry around in you has no underwear. It's called your mitzias. There's nowhere to hide it. Right? There's no underwear to hide Mitzias under. You walk around with it, you try to, I try to be complete bittul, but what can I do? I exist. It's embarrassing, gets in the way all the time. It's a terrible thing. So what do I have to have? I have more bittul, more bittul, more bittul. And even the shminis of the shminis, eventually I got rid of that all. And if I wouldn't exist at all, that would be the best, right? It's like, but what can I do? There's a Metzias. So the Rebbe's coming along. So what's the difference? Bittul Metzias are all the same. What's the big deal? You could be just as embarrassed about your bittul as you are about your Metzias. So what do you... He gave you a Metzias. It's also part. You have to be a ben in order to learn Torah. Plus, in order to do mitzvahs as well, you have to be a Metzias. You can't put on tefillin if you don't have an arm there. So they're both the same. So how do you reach the atzmus? When you have bittul mitzvahs together as one. That's the only way to mamish have atzmus. That you're both at one time. So now I don't have to hide my mitzias. I can be proud I have a mitzias. Fantastic. Because if I wouldn't have a mitzias, just having a bittul alone would be no good. It's the same thing. Now I have a mitzias. What's the point of mitzias? The bittul of the mitzias at the same time. It was befrat in the later years. Rabbi got into ani lo nevresi l'shamish iskeni, and then there's also ani nevresi, ani lo nevresi, ani nevresi, right? What's the point? It's the same point as over here. But Adam Rishon says, I have an ani. But this ani that I'm given, lo nevresi, this ani was created. Why am I given an ich? I have an ich. The shamis is keni. So the problem is not the ich. The problem is not knowing that the ich was given to you. The shamish is keni. That's all. But once you know, why am I mitzias? The Eibishter made me a mitzias, made me an ich. Why? The shamish is keni. And the Rebbe is saying, and that beik was in Limud Torah. Because in Limud Torah, your ich is now the shamish is keni. It's the same the way the Alter Rebbe learns. Why is a cotton not can't make a cotton a shuliach? Because he's not a bardas. His holding in is being a bardas. A cheresh, he doesn't have language, and without language, you don't have das. A sheta is a das is mavul, and a cotton doesn't have a deah shlema. Cotton ain't lo machshava. Basically, what a bardas means, I know that I am doing this. That's what we mean in halacha by a bardas. It's like the Gemara in the Chulin that the cotton ain't lo machshava, that if the cotton takes the carbon over to tzofan and he does this, it's still not kosher. Unless he says out loud, I am doing this because of this. Right? If it's a bar mitzvah, an adult, the adult, you see from he's doing that he knows what he's doing, because in his mind he says, I am doing this. His mind is saying, I am doing this. The cotton doesn't have that. So, the cotton is not a real mitzias. He doesn't have a full if. A bardas means, I am an if. So, Suman is up. A shliach means that he's like kiyadei shalom shliach, mitzius shalom shliach. When he's a shliach, he's not being his mitzvah, he's being mitzvah. But in order to be kiyadei mitzius shalom shliach, he has to have his own if. It's a strange thing. In order to not be me, I have to be a me. Right? So I'm saying the same thing. In order to be a bar mitzvah and do the Eibishter's mitzvahs, you have to be a bardas, which means I am existing. And I know I am here. I know I am here. And otherwise, you can't do mitzvahs. It's the same thing over and over again. Anyways, this seems like the key, and that's what happens in the Ches. It's not that the Torah, it's not just that the Torah brings you the tshuva ma'asim teva. She'ein imam, it's mamish the language of Rashi. She'ein imam, with the Torah, is she'yehei imam, the bottom line on the page. She'imam tshuva ma'asim. She'betlima the Torah, she'lo yabitol the tshuva. With the Torah that you're learning, this tachlis and mitzias has to be within it, this tachlis of bittul.
How does it play out?
What?
How does that look?
How does it look? I'll take this back.
Saying Mitzias were next to you in Bittul. It's Imam.
Take it from Mitzias.
Because the Bittul and Mitzias will always be next to each other.
Because in the Maimonides, concern from the Alter Rebbe points out that all the biggest Anavim were also the biggest Akshanim. There's Moshe Rabbeinu, Nachnuma, and Moshe Rabbeinu is not only just standing up to Pharaoh, standing up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lama zeh shelachtani. The greatest taken, right? When he's Nachnuma, when there's David HaMelech, Vani Solah, Svein Ish, right? David HaMelech, I can stand and tell everybody looks at me funny. My brothers think I'm weird, David HaMelech. I'm a worm, I'm a nobody. But when he goes out to fight with the Plishtim, like he's a nobody, they kill him all right. There's no nobody over here, right? So, Rabbi Akiva, his Rebbe, Rabbi Eliezer ben Hercules. Rabbi Eliezer ben Hercules, the whole world is against it. They put him to cherem. That's what I say, and that's it. But he's Takus Nivas, and Rabbi Akiva even more. So all the people with the greatest bittul, greatest Nivas, also had the greatest Tekivas. That's Mamas in the Smaima. That's exactly what's happening. There he says, if I understand it right, he says that the Anivas, the bittul, is a Das. And the Tekivas is a Teva Nafshin. So you can't change. It's something you can't change. The person can't change. That's who he is. Akiva is a stubborn guy. Right? David HaMelech was because this is who he is. He's an action, right? So, but in Das he knows I'm a nobody. Adarabba, when he now knows he is a nobody, that Tekifus inside can now come out. Because it's not about me. But the shliach's making a Lag Bomer parade. And at the last minute, the mayor says you can't do it, right? So if he thinks I'm the one making the Lag Bomer parade, who am I? I can't face up to the mayor and the police department and everybody. It's not me doing it. The Rebbe wants a Lag Bomer parade. It's not me. So therefore, he has tachlis and kippus, the bit. So he's a Metzias, and everybody sees this big Metzias that don't get in his way. Why is he Metzias? Because of his bitter. And the Rebbe made shluchim, it's exactly that. They're all very bitter. A lot of bitter.
How is that not your Metzias and it's not your Metzias? The whole word is not Metzias, therefore anyone fails.
I'm saying in the Alter Rebbe's mind.
No, he's saying that's Evid Melech Melech. That's a different part.
It's the Rebbe being killed and young, right? It's nothing to do with you. How is that balancing Metzias and Metzias?
So you're not being a Metzias. When Adam Arishan says Ani lo Metzias, he's realizing I'm not being a Metzias because I am a Metzias. So it's like there in Pasuk Eliyahu. It's not that Das Tachlin is Das Tachlin because it's so. The Eibishter wants it to be so. Everything is just because the Eibishter wants me to be a Metzias. He wants me to be a tough guy right now. I am a tough guy. He wants me to argue with him. I'm going to argue with him. Why? Because he wants me to. Okay, I also want to be one too. Okay. So I need some bittul. But because of my bittul, I can't stop having the... My bittul shouldn't get in the way of my mitzias, of being an heir. And it's not yeshus. Can't say it's yet. Yeshus means I am because I am. But to keep take of a mitzias just means the Eibishter made that I'm stubborn and I get my way and that's it. And he gave me that teva for a reason, for a purpose. That's it. You take charge. So that's like real Chassidim, real Shaliach. It's over and over again. I mean, even you have a bittul of Zushan Anipoli, but with his bittul, still the same tekifus. You have like tzaddikim, you have those who what you see on the surface is bittul and underneath is tekifus. You have the other ones who you see on the surface is mitzvahs, but inside is tafnis of bittul. Take it in bittul. How's it go? The Rebbe said about the Frierdiker Rebbe that he was soft on the outside and hard on the inside, and he was the opposite, something like that.
Freilicher versus Eris.
No, but like the Frierdiker Rebbe was on the outside, he was warm and everything, but on the inside it was tekifus. And he said about himself it was tekir. Inside was shivna and leather. The outside it was tough. Something the opposite like that.
So you're saying that both models work over here?
Yeah, there's which type of tzaddik and so on you're talking about. Both of them work. It also gives you a different idea of what Kabbalah Sel is. The Maimon, the ending of Kabbalah Sel. So the Kabbalah Sel comes after Rubusa Duliba. It's an Ava Atzmi. Right? So, in Bechlal, the way you get taught in the Sifta what's Kabbalah Sel, right?
Oh, now it started.
Kabbalah Sel is because I say you're obedient, right? You're an obedient.
I know it's going to come soon, so be careful.
I just there was a maybe you read it. There was this journalist who came in the 60s in the Chafs, asked the Rebbe, could the Holocaust happen tomorrow? He said, when it couldn't happen again. The Rebbe said, Morgan in the free. And he asked, like, why, like, what was it about Germany that happened over there? And the Rebbe said, I'm trying to remember. Anyways, point was, the Germans are very obedient people. I had one of my books translated into German, and the guy made changes. And he said, because for Americans, you have to explain to them why they should do something. For a German, you have to just tell them who said that they should do it. Right? He said, Germans just want to know what am I supposed to do and who said I'm supposed to do it. That's it. That's how you train. Right? So you have to ask yourself, do Germans have Kabbalah Sol? Did Nazis have Kabbalah Sol? Is an obedient soldier a Kabbalah Selnik? What is the difference between obedience and Kabbalah Sel? When a Yid does Kabbalah Sel, it's because he's mukhraf. He's mukhraf. What does it mean that the Kabbalah Sel is mukhraf? Why is he mukhraf? Is he mukhraf because he's beteva, an obedient person? So he always follows instructions and won't do something that breaks the law? You know, like there were people who went around Germany after the war looking for the righteous Gentiles, people who had saved Jews. And it was very, very hard because the people who had saved Jews felt guilty that they had broken the law. They felt they had done something wrong. They broke the law.
They wouldn't say that they did it.
Yeah, they did. So are they Kabbalah Selniks? What's the difference? How do you tell the difference between an obedient Nazi and a Yid who has Kabbalah Sel? So I don't remember where. It's somewhere there in Ein Beis that the Eved listens to his master, but if somebody else comes along, somebody else's master comes and tells, he says, who are you? My master I listen to. Somebody else's master I don't have to listen to. Like the Alter Rebbe's chassid, Moshe Belenke, the Shlomo, what's his name? Karlin, Shlomo Karlin, tried to take him away. And he said, the master, he said in Russian, the master is a master, the servant is a servant. It's not this master's servant, it's not this servant's master, right? So the Yid is listening, he's not obedient. He could be a very disobedient. Azim Shuba Umes. Israel Azim Shuba, there's a list somebody made of all the rebellions in the Roman Empire. You go through the list. And basically, if there was a rebellion happening in the Roman Empire, it was most likely Jews. That's the way it works. Okay.
And in other empires as well.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Invented rebellions, invented empires. Okay, the whole thing. So Yidden are not obedient people. Well, I remember there was a child psychologist who was very popular, and most of his clientele were Jewish. And he said that the behavioral obedience stuff and so on, it works very, very well on pigeons and rats, but it doesn't work well when it comes to cats and Jewish children. Very hard to train. This is not obedient. Okay. Who says, right? Typical Jew is like, who says? So that's the Nakuda Rusudulipa. That the Kabbalah sale is because of an Ava Atzmis. That's what the Maimon is saying. Kabbalah sale doesn't come out of Yira. All the time we say it's about Yira. Okay, it is Yira. Kabbalah sale is Yira. It's the foundation of Yira. You say it with Shoresh, right? But why is it there? It's there because it has a neshama, and all the neshama wants is to be mispatul mitziyus, so it's the Rus Beliba. Because of the Rus Beliba, the Yid has. So when we say that the Yid feels that he's muchra, why is he muchra? Because the Eibishter says so. The Eibishter says. That's what you do with Jewish kids. The kid doesn't obey the parents. The parent has to take out a Shulchan Aruch. You're a dad. So, see right over here. It says in Shulchan Aruch. You have to listen. Oh, it's a Shulchan Aruch. It says, and I listen to you. Not because you're my father. Shulchan Aruch says I have to listen to you. It works. I'm not telling you.
We should try it out.
Yeah, it works. I'm telling you, it works. We'll see. So the mukrafu is a Yid feels, I have to do this, right? Because it's a Venus of Ismaim. I know him, he knows me, and if he says, I have to listen to him, that's all. The same with the Mesiras Nefesh. Mesiras Nefesh by a Yid. What's the difference between Shahid, right? Goes on jihad, right? Or Japanese kamikaze pilots, they just, right? What's the difference between that and the Mesiras Nefesh of a year? Completely two different worlds. We're having so this is a long time ago. We had the Bachram who came back from Shlichus, had a Shiur, complained to Reb Yol that they didn't get a Shiur because they were on the Rebbe Shlichus. So he agreed to give us a Shiur like 7 o'clock in the morning, but not 7:70. And so he had this Shiur in Ein Beis. And so one time, he's talking about Mesiras Nefesh, of a Yid, and so on. So one of the Chevra, Chaim Majeski, I think, asked him, what about like these gurus? They sit in a cave with a bowl of rice, all abandon all material pleasures, and they're sitting there and meditating until they drop dead. Right? What about them? There's skin and bones. It's Mesiras Nefesh. Give their life for it. Mesiras Nefesh. What's Mesiras Nefesh? Kurnish. So Rabbi Yol was basically saying that this guy believes that the Tachlis Ilui that Ben Adam can reach to is this meditation. Es kommt mir nicht. This has nothing to do with Mesiris Nefesh. This is Tachlis Elu. The same thing, a martyr feels, I want to get to, what they have over there. Okay, we don't go into that. Okay, but I want it, okay? I want to be a hero. My family will be proud of me. That's what they want. So a Yid, a Pashut Yid, comes to a point of Mesiris Nefesh, and he wants to live. He doesn't want to be a martyr. He wants to live. But the Goy is giving him a choice, and it's not a choice. He says, the Goy, I'm really sorry, I can't do that. No, you can't do it, just do it. I can't. It just doesn't happen. I can't do it. Why can't he do it? Because the Ava Atzmis. Right? This Kabbalah soul in Mesiris Nefesh comes out of the Ava Atzmis. Everything now makes sense. Why in Tanya you get to Reishi Saveda Vikar V'Sharsha? Which parak is Reishi Saveda Vikar V'Sharsha? Which parak? How many prakim did you learn before? You're going to write a book about Avedas Hashem. What are you going to start with? Reishi Saveda. It's a 40 prakim, and then finally you tell me. Why didn't you tell me at the beginning? The Alter Rebbe is telling you don't understand Reishi Saveda until you understand the Ava Atzmis. You have to understand that your neshama can't rip itself away from a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Now, that's Ru'usa Delipa. That brings you to the Kabbalah self. That's what it's all about. The Kabbalah all is not because your cheder and the sifter must be knocked into your head that there is no why. You just have to do whatever I say and be obedient because it's much easier to run to the sifter that way. I mean, the whole point of the mimer here is you get to the Torah brings you to the Rus Deliba, which brings you to the Kabbalah Sale. I Kabbalah Sale, it's Reishi Saveda. Yeah, but to have the real Kabbalah Sale, you have to have the Ava Atzmis. Bring out the Ava Atzmis. Once you start seeing what's going on over here, the Rebbe's it's a very different understanding of what is Beto, what is Mitzias, what is Kabbalah Soul, what are all these things, than how before we learn Chassidus. It's very different. I'll give a good example. This Kabbalah Soul thing, but also the Mitzias and Beto thing. So the Rebbe saw that with American kids, they don't have Kabbalah Soul. He wrote this in a letter to somebody. So somebody wrote a letter to, why am I sending my kids to the military camp? I'm against war and so on. It's Hashem, right? So the Rebbe explained that. He thought for a long time, how are we going to teach Kabbalah Soul to American kids? Right? So we came up with this idea that you're a soldier in Hashem's army. So how did he teach Kabbalah Soul? By lifting them up. By lifting the kids up. Now you're a soldier. And at that point, by the Verbrangans, the Rebbe's sitting there, and all the kids are standing, and they're under the table and playing it. Like you see, I remember seeing a little hand coming up from under the table, grabbing the cake. And it was one of the Alter Chassidim, I don't want to say who, came over and starts like holding all the kids away. The Rebbe turns to him and says, you're how do you say, a citizen. You're just a citizen. And they're soldiers, and you're telling them what to do. So the Rebbe taught...
I do believe in the difference between citizens.
Yeah, civilians, yeah. Civilians can't tell the soldiers who to shoot. Okay, so... The Rebbe taught American kids Kabbalah Soil by picking them up. You're an important person. You became a sergeant, you became a general, right? And then now you're very important. And that's your Kabbalah Soul. Somebody go tell this to Shivi. Totally messed up. No, they did Kabbalah Soul, like I beat you into the ground till I can step on you. No, the Rebbe picked the kids up. That's Kabbalah Soul. You pick them up. You're important. The whole world is relying on you. Chai v'adam leimish b'shvili nivra'ilam. That's Kabbalah Soul. So it's Tachlis of Mitzias. B'shvili nivra'ilam, not you. B'shvili nivra'ilam, right? And what? To Lasakane. Right? So it's all one thing. That's all. That's all I know about the mind. Now you can use the same strat when you're learning the mimer. This thing about being a mitzias. What the Rebbe says will be, why does the Rebbe bring when he wants to show that and the second kata it's a sif base, okay, sif base. When the Rebbe wants to show that Torah is not just in Yanim Sheni, but opposites. It says mitzvahs limit toshi yavin v'yasi b'seichel sholei. It has to be your seichel that you understand. Now the Rebbe brings, what's the raya? Moshe Amar kamiflik b'sifta d'rekia. Why from the sifta d'rekia? The Rebbe wants to show you that it has to be in your seichel. She's saying because kamiflik b'sifta d'rekia, not the resifta b'sifta d'rekia. I'm over here, my seichel. Maybe in the Sifta Rekia they have a better say. It could bring many rayas in halacha. First of all, it could bring from Benatzuni Banatzuni. But Acher Rabbim Lahates. It's pasuk in Torah. Acher Rabbim Lahates. Supposed to go off in your own say. In the halacha, Maschilim and Atzad. Why Maschilim and Atzad by Bidin in the Pashis? Because you don't want a guy saying that you want him to say his own opinion, not that he feels he has to agree with the Nasi. So Lach in the Rambam, you tell me where it is. You go to the Taina Nit and come to a Beis Din, and the Beis Din listens, and they say we don't know what to do. So what they write to the Beis Din the Gadol Shabir Shalim. Beis Din the Gadol Shabir Shalim writes back to them. And they look through the thing. They're not allowed to say, well, Beis Din Shabir Shalim says like this. They're not allowed. If they read it through, and they disagree, they have to paskin their way. Why? Because you came to this Beis Din, not another Beis Din. So the many other places the Rebbe could have brought from, giving a pasuk in Torah, why does he bringing from the Sif to the Rekia? I ask a question. Why does the Rabbi bring a chacham? Tafka from the Sifta, come up to the Sifta Rekia. Why not from many things in halacha? Here, in all of Asiya. No.
I can't say it's a building. Like a mile.
What?
I can't say it's a building, right? It's building up to straight on your school, right? Start up grade is 1 mile.
So the Rebbe says kol shekin. The Rebbe says kol shekin. Yeah. What's the kol shekin? What's the Kalvin Chaim? What's the Chaimer?
We're the violence Torah, right? They're not the violence Torah. They can argue with you according to the God. Kosher for the violence Torah. Hell, Shemaini, on Torah.
No, you might think that up there in the Masifta Durekia, they're really getting it. They have a socket of mahus. They're going to get it. Down here, we don't know what's going on. So maybe we should think that way. But the Rebbe says for care. Kol shekin. He says because here it's Loba Shamayim and it's Bana. There it's Bashamayim. Right? So Adaram. Torah Loba Shamayim. And even there they have to disagree with the Torah. It comes out that the Indian of Torah is not mitzvah. You could say it's mitzvah that it's lamata. It's mitzvah that it's manai. No, it's the mitzvah Torah itself. It's the Indian of Torah itself. It's not what you say circumstantial because of where the Torah is. No, that is what Torah is, even when it's lamaila, even when it's still b'shemah. Because Etzem Torah is Ritzias. That's what Torah is.
And what's the question you want there?
So Kol Shekain, when you also have the Mila of its Lo B'Shemayim and also the Mila of Banai, Kol Shekain over there. Lo B'Shemayim.
Part of the Varth is that, like down here, you could say man can argue on God because we're a yes. Right? We have the capacity to disagree. How is it even possible for Mesivta Derakia to disagree?
Because it's not Torah, because they're given Torah, therefore they can
So that's
disagree.
the heart. So in a way, there's a bigger chiddush, L'mayla, that the kudah that Torah has to be your Metzias is even the Metzias that the Torah is completely bottled to the Ebershter. So everything they would say would just be completely aligned with Ratzon Hashem.
It's not.
And yet, so that's even more madgish that point. Because the Ratzon Hashem, the Chachmas Hashem, is that it should go through the Chachmas HaNivra in whatever level. Even if it's Mesivta Derakia, which they're right there in the presence of God. And yet, they will also argue, because that's the Seder of Torah.
Yeah, you could say that way as well. I'm just thinking, when the Rebbe says the Kol Shekain, he points out these two things.
Yeah.
So you see from there. There were just some other things here, but everything's in a different place in here. So I just had two other small things. The Iyar I showed you, the structure of the mimer. When you have an aura that starts off Laha'ir, right? What's the red flag when you see Laha'ir? It means that most probably there's some sort of stira over here. Otherwise, it's just say Re'eh, Ein, something like that. You have sometimes Laha'ir. And it seems like the Laha'ir are generally from the Rebbe. Okay, so there's a Laha'ir over here. Number 17. The Pnim says that he's bringing from Tafresh Peizayin that even though Seichel, the Chachma is higher in the Nefesh, and Tshuva, Midas, Mitzvahs are Meises, so they're lower. If Tshuva is the Midas Shebalev, nevertheless, it's after the lower Keifus Tarik. It's because as it's Tika Talia Mil. So okay, it's another thing. So when he says Tshuva b'midas shebalev, look over there. Lahayir mitanya perchavtes ikar Tshuva b'lev. Stop and think about it. What's going on? And it's just 3 words, but think about it. It says in the Maimer Tshuva b'midas shebalev. Lahayir. Wait, hold on. You're telling me Tshuva b'midas shebalev? Lahayir. It says in Tanya ikar Tshuva b'lev. What's the problem? No? So what's the problem? Perchavtes is saying that they want to bring to a higher level. Maybe all these symptom 11, it's how they want to bring to a higher place, right? But I did tshuva already. Yeah, but Yikra tshuva b'lev, and when you get tshuva on that level, is a higher level. Okay, so what's the problem? You said tshuva is maybe the tshuva b'lev. They get tshuva b'lev. Almost, not always, but for sure here it does, because otherwise you would say re'eh, and even then, why bring it b'chlam? It should be davar pasha tshuva's b'lev. What's the Rebbe trying to point out? How do you do tshuva? It's how the Alter Rebbe learns tshuva. Tshuva means that charat olam haba, right? Kabbalah lahaba. You realized you're mispainted, and you realized that you became a nifra. You need your brain to do tshuva. Himein das havdalah minayin. You need your brain to do tshuva. So where is tshuva? It's also in chachma. It's also in das. Ikar tshuva b'lev. Only the ikar of tshuva is b'lev. But it starts off in the moach. Without a brain, you can't do tshuva. So that's the problem. Here we're saying that tshuva is b'midas shebalev, period. Tanya doesn't say that. And it only says that the ikar of tshuva is belev. Now you can make a whole pill full and write Parasi to Mimi. The next lahai is much easier. You can figure it out very easy. That's it. I'm done.
So two more.
What? So the other lahai, you figure out yourself. Let me tell you. What does it say? It says in the name. Where was it? Down here somewhere. About it's a different place. In order, the beginning of the says v'atzmus mamish ikal de tiyum Torah mitzvah. Says you want to get the atzmus mamish, it's beikar al de kiyum Torah mitzvah. But hold on a minute. Beikar al de kiyum Torah mitzvah. Says in Tanya Sof Perek Daled that they were talking about that Ava is the engine behind mitzvah saseh, and Iyar is the engine behind mitzvah lo saseh. Why? Because with Ava on its own, you don't have anything. The Ava, the Rebbe has this beer over there. Ava, when you feel Ava to another person, it feels good to have Ava. But Ava to a Kodesh Baruch Hu feels lousy. And they say, he's not here. What? To what? He's nowhere. What? I can't grasp him. I have nothing of him. Okay? So the only way this Ava can come out is in Kiyum Torah mitzvahs. That's what it's saying over there. Because, and why is that the only way it can come out? Because of Kodesh Baruch Hu, so nothing you can do. There's no other way of getting him. That's its only way. The Rebbe points out, so again, as you see, it's lahayir. It's lahayir again, because the Panim is saying it's be'ikar al de kiyum Torah mitzvahs. But it says in Sof Perek Daled, it's the only way. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. Next machshava, what's machshava? Machshava is rusa deliba. Next machshava to be speak klal at all, and the only way is Torah mitzvah. So whole mimer falls apart. So here we're saying, this is tefis, atzmis, but not mamish, and this is bigger. From Perek Daled, there's no room. It's either or. Either you have it or you don't have it. Period.
So it's the exact opposite of the previous lahar. Here, the Ara, it's Iker, and the Pnim is not Iker. Here it's Rakir.
Yeah. I have a lot of new things.